Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player of all time and the centerpiece of the biggest, most controversial trade in sports history.
But never has the hockey world, or for that matter the sporting world, ever dreamt of a deal like today's.
Confirmed that the Edmonton Oilers have agreed to trade Wayne Gretzky to Los Angeles.
Peter Pocklington owned the Oilers in the WHA starting in 1976, joined the NHL in 79, and eventually sold in 98.
Former Edmonton Oilers owner Peter Pocklington will be spending Christmas in jail. As CBC First reported, Pocklington was found guilty of breaching his probation for a previous perjury conviction and a bankruptcy fraud case. Our investigative reporter Charles Rusnell broke the story and has the latest developments. Charles.
Adrian, many of Peter Pocklington's creditors and legions of Oilers fans are enjoying some bitter satisfaction today because after years of evading jail for his razor's edge business dealings, Peter Pocklington will finally spend some time behind bars. Today in California, a judge sentenced the former Oilers owner to 6 months in prison beginning December 9th. Earlier, the court heard evidence that Pocklington had for 19 months failed to disclose hundreds of thousands of dollars of so-called consulting fees paid by some gold mine stock promotion companies to another company, which, it turned out, was owned by Eva Pocklington. The court also learned Pocklington himself owned those gold mining companies. Los Angeles lawyer David Castleman represents many of Pocklington's creditors, including the Alberta government, which Pocklington owes $13 million.
If you put him under oath, he has no compunction whatsoever to lie, which he's done over and over. That's how he got into this mess.
And another major development in this case today. The judge has agreed to hear a motion by Pocklington's creditors to unseal his financial records. The creditors believe they will show Pocklington has stashed millions of dollars in offshore accounts.
My name is Bruce McNall. I was the owner of the Los Angeles Kings hockey team from 1986 till 1995.
People know two things about Bruce McNall. Gretzky Kings, and he went to jail.
I don't know how it could be any worse than it is right now.
In almost 25 years since McNall sold the Kings and disappeared from the NHL. In 20 years since he went to prison. McNall made his first fortune dealing ancient coins. He was a self-made expert. But his true genius wasn't just in understanding history. It was in spinning a tale, in selling the idea as much as the object.
I mean, it was all about the story. You take an item that looks like it's just a blank coin and you give it life. You know, this coin could have been held by Cleopatra, all of which is true, theoretically. And I could bring life to things. That's what I think made the difference. And in LA, especially in LA, you really have to have star power.
By 1993, McNall's web of debt and deceit began to fray. Even as the Kings were making a run to the Stanley Cup final, McNall knew that his empire was crumbling.
He had a lot of money that he had borrowed, and it was kind of collapsing around him.
He, misled on what his assets were, what he could use as collateral, all those things to a big, big degree.
My financial statements were wrong. They were incorrect. And filing false financial statements is a felony. I pled guilty to 4 counts of bank fraud.
In 1997, McNall was sentenced to 70 months in prison.